the mindset that was created during all the training and all the missions and all the deployments never leaves you.
No.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
You know, so you're just one of the few who made it through.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, new guy, get to work, pick that up, put that down, fall in line, shut up, and it's like, but that's what I wanted. That's what I was like my whole thing, my problem with the inclusive, let's bitch about everything and, write a complaint if it's hard is like, dude, we want it to be hard, because when it's hard, like that gives you the edge, that gives you the clout, it gives you the
Gives you the advantage.
The advantage for sure, because it's like I did this that not a lot of people do, and I mean that's why before SEALs became the hot topic, it's like everybody wanted to be them. Now everybody with a social media page talks shit about them. It's like, dude, let me see you make it through one day of buds. You want to talk shit about guys that are SEALs because of something you heard or whatever. Like social media gives people the opportunity to weigh in on whatever they want. And it's like, dude, it's that man in the arena mentality. It's like, and to be honest, like who cares what they say? Who cares what anybody says? It's like, you're the one in there fighting, working, suffering, pushing through. And it's like, that's all that matters. You and your, more importantly, your buddies to the left and right of you, cause you're there for them.
So remember this, cause somebody told me this, when somebody spews out that hate towards whatever you're doing, a hater is very rarely ever doing better than you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very rarely.
I love that saying.
Yeah, that's the greatest saying in the world. And this is perfect. You get into the teams and listen, your deployments, that's probably a whole third podcast, which, listen, I want to talk to you about. But you get out, and the one thing I know about Navy SEALs is when you get out of the teams, the mindset that was created during all the training and all the missions and all the deployments never leaves you.
No.
It's something that it's like you got a special gift that not a lot of people get to experience, that you get to use as a life lesson for the rest of your life.
100%.
So how big of an adjustment was it to get out of the teams and try to rejoin normal society?
It's still an adjustment.
Yeah. And how long have you been out?
I got out in 2018.
All right. So you've been out for 6 years.
Yeah.
And what was your first gig when you got out? Did you figure I'm just going to take it easy?
So I took about a year off. My wife and I had just gotten married in June of 2018.
And by the way, I want to point out it's a special woman who's willing to endure the mindset that you've created over the past several years.
Yeah, she's definitely a special woman, and she for sure endures, and she puts up with me, and God bless her, because I mean, there's a lot to unpack and a lot to deal with, but we're both working on it, and she's great. And
you never piss off a Navy SEAL's wife, because I guarantee she's tougher than you are.
Oh yeah, she'll slit your throat faster than I will. She's legit, and she was one of the reasons that I decided to get out, because I told myself, I'm not going to get married or have kids while I'm active duty, especially in the SEAL teams.
Too much stake in the game at that point.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to be a FaceTime dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be gone 9 months out of the year for deployments and training and not see my kids grow up or grow apart from my wife or anything like that. I mean, the divorce rate in the SEAL teams is insane.
And you also don't want to be that military member who gets that Dear John letter.
Right.
Say, hey, listen, I can't take this shit.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that was like, so I had it all kind of figured out in my head. And by the way, like I didn't plan on getting out. Like my mindset, I was going to do 20. I wanted to screen. I wanted to go the distance, especially after everything I'd been through, and by the time I got pinned, I had been in the Navy for 6 years. So it took me 6 years to get through a 1-year pipeline. You know what I'm saying? So I told myself, it took me 6 years to get here. I'm going to give 6 years back to the teams. And that was just kind of like, that was just kind of something I said to myself just to hold myself accountable. But I never even considered getting out after 6. And then as it was, the stars aligned, and I ended up getting the same like butterfly feelings in my stomach about getting out that I did when I saw that dude walk by me going into the Army and me remembering that I wanted to join the Navy and be a SEAL. So that's kind of, I took that as a sign, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to walk away from this.
That was your next mountain to climb.
Right.
You know, what happens when you climb a mountain? Well, there's the base of the next mountain. You climb the next mountain. So you climbed that mountain.
Right.
Like you climbed that mountain several times. But you climbed that mountain. Now it's time for the next mountain. What's the next mountain for you?
The Suffering Podcast welcomes our newest sponsor, Revive. Ketamine infusions that are personalized, accessible, and holistic. Proven treatments for post-traumatic stress, depression, anxiety, chronic pain, neuropathic pain, and so much more. Keto Revive is physician-operated with customized treatments tailored to you and an outstanding support system. Keto Revive offers first responder special discounts. So try something new, proven treatments, located in Wyckoff, New Jersey. To find out more, visit Keto Revive at ketorevive.com. Let's start healing today.
Raising my family, I got 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, 4, 2, and my boy will be 1 in a few weeks. So just being present for my family.
You got some Irish twins in you. I like it. I like it a lot.
Hey, man, I had to make up for lost time. You know?
Yeah, again, you're around a bunch of alpha males with a high-protein diet, so it's nice to have some feminine touch. It becomes addictive.
I didn't quit till I got my boy, though. I'm trying to push my wife into giving him a little brother, but I think she's done. She's like, I'm not a golden retriever. Like, all right. And it's a lot, man. I mean, my wife, she does a lot of the heavy lifting, and you know, I'm fortunate now to where I have a job where I can be home a lot. I work for the Western Steel Council of Iron Workers. I'm their safety director, and I got that through another team guy buddy of mine, and it's been great. I'm really appreciative of the opportunity, and the people I work with are awesome. These iron workers are like the Navy SEALs of the construction world. Like they're hardcore. They're hard dudes doing a hard job, and I get it.
Well, those iron workers, listen, I grew up in Atlantic City, man. I watched iron workers build a casino. These guys are different. I watch guys getting hung over the steel because, you know, we talk about in the beginning, you know, the argument stuff. I watched it, you know.
Yeah, man. So that's what I'm doing now as my day job, but I'm still working. So one of the jobs I got, the last job I had before this job, I was there for 4.5 years. I was a combat skills instructor for Navy EOD technicians. So I didn't really stray too far from the watering hole. Like I took like a year off when I got out and was just like, all right, I'm just going to, you know, chill, regroup, you know, get close with my wife or, you know, newlyweds, start having babies. And then, you know, I went back to the gun and I've been rocking that thing for the past 4.5 years, more than I ever did in the teams. Like I knew how to shoot in the teams. Like you got to be a competent shooter, you know, you got to be not just competent, you got to be an expert shooter. And I mean, I was a sniper and, you know, I did a lot of combat shooting, but I really leaned into it these past 4.5 years. And I think I found my groove with it. And so on the side, building out my shooting brand, I got something. I know anybody can go online and learn a thing or two, or, you know, there's no shortage of, you know, shooting instruction out there, but I got something that nobody's doing right now. And I'm going to keep a lid on it until the time's right. But
how freeing is that to focus so I grew up shooting. Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, I have not shot since my shooting in July 10th, 2013, because the bang. So it's the post-traumatic stress. It's the bang. I can't, like, I thinking about it gives me anxiety. And this comes from a guy who was a lifelong shooter, and I enjoyed shooting because I enjoyed the science behind it. Right. You know, it's the breathing. Yeah. It's the focus. Yeah. You have to erase everything from your mind. So I admire people who still love that shooting, because I see that, and I've watched your videos on Instagram. And you just give out your Instagram handle.
Shoot, eat, and lift. And if you take the first letter of each of those words, it spells out SEAL.
Shoot, eat, and lift.
And it's all the things I like to do, man.
And well, you don't look like you eat because you look like you're still in pretty damn good shape. But I know the focus that it takes to shoot, because whatever noise is going on in your head from daily life, when you go out on a range, and this is what I always loved about the range or wherever you are, you're able just to make it disappear into the ether.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're doing it, because I watched your stuff and you got some cool shit on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some cooler shit to come, but for now, I mean, I've got access to a pretty good range. We've got access to some pretty good guns and, some good deals on ammo, and
which is a big deal right now.
Huge,
Yeah.
bro. I'm actually like, I'm always looking for a good deal on the ammo. The guns, it's like, I'll build out my gun when the time's right, but for now I've got what I need, and at least to teach. And the thing is too, is like, I've had the experience of teaching guys for the past 4.5 years and really, learning a lot. Even as an instructor, I feel like I learned more as an instructor than I did ever as just a student, which I'm always a student, but
yeah, but you see a different side of it.
for sure.
That's why I encourage young kids to coach.
Yeah.
Like in football.
Right.
So I encourage young kids to coach, because you're seeing the game from a different side, and it in turn makes you a better player.
For sure.
Yeah.
I totally get that. And I see that, like, so, and I learned from other guys. I mean, there's guys that I shoot with that are some of the fucking fastest shots and most accurate that I've ever seen, and they're legit. Actually, one of the guys that I ended up working with was the guy who taught me how to shoot in buds. And
that's cool.
Yeah. It was a cool, like, come full circle kind of moment. And he's definitely the fastest pistol shot I've ever met. And he's very unassuming looking. Like, you would never think that this guy could, put you down before you blink. And
well, I don't think your voice has raised an octave the entire time you've been here. Your smiles, you're very well spoken. You, on the surface, unless you sat there and I knew your story and told your story, you're one of the more unassuming people in the world. But here's what I know: the unassuming people are the ones you got to be careful of.
For sure.
It's not the dog that barks the loudest.
Oh yeah. And you see that all the time too. It's like, and I think, getting older helps, because you just, what is it? Like, the smarter you get, or the wiser you get, like, the more sad you are, because you're like, oh fuck. you start learning things. You're like, oh, it's like the smarter you get, it's like the more you see, the less you know. And I don't know. I've been known to howl at the moon with the boys, and just have my day of rage. But having kids settles you down, and being married and all that, you can't bring that shit home with you. But
now you have an opportunity now to teach guys and have them learn from a Navy SEAL, not just a Navy SEAL, from a guy who's probably got more experience in the Navy SEALs than, I'm going to guess, 99% of the people who went through.
Well, definitely the training. I mean, as a SEAL, like, I didn't get to, go to the Super Bowl or anything, but I got to play on the field with the team, and it was cool. Like, I mean, the guys that I worked with were the best. My first platoon, all my older guys were like the hardest, coolest, most tactically sound dudes. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better platoon to be a part of and just to learn from. And, I still carry their lessons with me to this day. And, so as far as being a SEAL, like, I got to play a little bit, but, the training for sure, I could tell you, I could talk all day about it. And, going through it, I never thought like, oh, this would be a cool podcast or a cool book one day. Like, that was never like my mindset. It was like, this is just the hand I'm dealt, and I've got to deal with it. It's like, it's just the adventure. This is the journey. This is the suffering, getting through this training, and pushing through.
But look how much better you are on the other side.
And you know what? And that, I would say, like, the rewards you reap for not quitting are, I mean, they're never ending. I mean, I would not be where I'm at today. I would not be talking to you. I would not have what I have. I would not, be who I am if I would have rang that bell,
Well, you know the greatest line you mentioned Gladiator earlier on before Hell Week, and Maximus says something right before they're about to go into battle against the Germanic tribes, and he says, "What we do in life echoes in eternity." And there is never a truer statement when it comes to John Collins than that statement right there, because what you have done in life is going to echo in eternity. And I can't wait to see where it goes.
Me either.
So, John, we are coming to the end of this thing here. And I end every show the same way, because there's lessons in every hardship and every piece of suffering, 6 buds classes, multiple roles, medical issues, all these things to become what you've always felt that you must become in order to fulfill your life.
Who I am.
Who you are. It's had to have taught you something, all that suffering. And I'd love to know from you what your suffering has taught you.
You're stronger than you think. And it's diamonds are made from pressure, I mean, you said it, and it's true. If it wasn't for the suffering, if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it wasn't for the torture, if it wasn't for the pain, if it wasn't for the struggle, then, everybody would be special. And yeah, sure, everybody's special, but there's a sign that hangs over the grinder that says, be someone special. So be that person, and it's on you. And it's on you as the individual to not be a victim, to lean into the suffering, lean into the pain. Because look, you got to choose your suffering. You got to choose your pain. Do you want the pain of regret and the pain of quitting and the pain of not fulfilling your destiny? Or do you want the pain of going through that and becoming something more and stronger on the other end?
Well, one leads to reward, the other one leads to regret. So that's pretty much it.
Well said.
So, John, I can't thank you enough. This has been wonderful. I love hearing these. I love finding out these little pieces of information from people on how to become a better person, on how to become a stronger person, on how to make your mind more bulletproof. I think you've done it. You've achieved that goal, and I can't wait to see what's next. And you got to keep us abreast at everything you do, because you are in here now. You are now family, and our platform is your platform.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate you guys having me. I think what you're doing here is great. My condolences for your friend, and keep doing what you're doing, bro. This is a great platform, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, I got to talk to this guy. I got a story for him.
And I saw you, and I got to talk to this guy. So it's mutual.
Thanks, brother.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast, The Suffering of a Frogman with John Collins. And let's think about all the stuff that we learned. Don't take anything for granted. Never, ever have a plan B. You never really make it. Feel the pain to never feel it again. But most importantly, and this is John's life in a nutshell, losers make excuses. Winners find a way. And that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to go to popple.com, put in the code TSP20 for a 20% discount on your digital business card. And, of course, follow us on all social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, OnlyFans. Follow me at Real Kevin Donaldson, and, of course, follow the Suffering Podcast. And we're going to see you on the next episode.